Hello viewers and welcome back to another piece of crap boat anchor bingo pinball repair video. And today I'm going to be working on Carnival Queen. This is a pretty legendary game. It was the first one to incorporate the magic screen feature. And everybody says the magic screen games are really fun. So I guess I'll find out in this video if it really is fun or not. I'm sure it is. So, this game came out in 1958, so it's pretty old, and this one's pretty beat up. The cabinet is really rough on this one. As you can see, the front, someone has painted over and plastered this crappy piece of metal over the coin door, so that's lovely. This side, not that great either. These steel rails that you see are also not original. And the legs, these legs are not original, but as far as like if it has wooden legs or steel legs, in the flyer, it shows the machine with steel legs. But I seen some with wooden legs, so I don't know. This machine had steel legs when I got it, so that's what I put on there. But these front ones here are actually like a couple inches shorter than the ones on the back here. And I don't know, I must have misplaced or either misplaced or lost the legs that came with this machine, because the legs were black like these ones, but I only had 4 black legs, and they were pretty sure they were for a different game which also had black legs. So I don't know. This is what I just brought with me, and that's what we're gonna work with. But if I have to change the legs or repaint them, then I'll do that. So the play field is not good. It's hard to see, the glass is pretty dirty, but it's pretty dirty. And it's also got some wear too, mostly around the holes. This is where the wear is, right here, with this rollover. The inserts there don't look great either. You can see the pinballs don't look great either. They're all dull looking. I think that one has a little bit of rust on it too. Script on the ball covers chipping off. No instruction cards. So that has these 2 stickers. This one, I don't know why it says 1963. This game is not from 1963, and I don't even have any games from that year. You can see lot number 1, because these games I got were all from an auction. But they came from a seller who had got them from an auction. Shooter rod, tips all beat up. Foot rail, also in piss poor condition. Like, look at the coin slot there. This piece of little thing there, all screwed up. The back glass, pretty bad too. The problematic area is right here. It looks like someone had repainted it at some point too, because you can see brush strokes and paint. This is not original. Another problematic area there. There's also a cobweb inside the glass there. So yeah, this one's gonna be a pretty expensive one to repair, I think. So I think what I've decided to do is Chris Dade of Bingo.uk. He makes scans of back glasses if they're in good enough shape, and he prints reproductions. So I think I'm gonna purchase a reproduction back glass for this machine, because all this flaking missing would probably bother the hell out of me, and it would also decrease the overall value of the machine too, at least in my opinion. He also makes play fields too, but the play fields to me would probably be more costly than the back glasses. And you could usually fix up the play fields pretty easily as far as like cleaning them and painting them if you have to. I've never really seen a play field that's like way too far gone to restore yet, but I'm sure there's been some out there. So as far as the cabinet goes, I've also decided that we're gonna have this repainted as well, because there's there's a bit of paint missing, to be honest, and mostly because of this side here. Like, clearly none of this is original. You can see the original paint underneath it. Another thing that's a problem with this is this cabinet's kind of falling apart, especially behind this leg here. Like this leg is not really on there too well. Luckily the threads for the bolts are good, but you know, it's you can see it's pretty wobbly, but that's all right with me. Bit of wood missing there. But the trim looks nice at the very least, I can see. Just dirty. So I think we'll pop open the back door, and then we'll take a look and see what surprises await us inside there. Okay, we're about to pop the door open. There's a lock on it, but I had to pry it open and get it out. And this lock is missing. I also noticed that it's missing the little post there. Those black rubber posts that are usually there. Those are missing, but it does have the little ring there. So that's what we use to pull the door open. So let's see what awaits us inside the tomb, if I can get it open. Another thing is, you can see the door is not quite level. There we go. Prop it open. Pretty good amount of stuff, I think. So one of the first things I notice is this thing has caught on fire at some point. Here you go. And believes me that I think that one of these coils here in the mixer unit burnt up. You can see it there on the door. I don't know though, I didn't really look too much into it. Yeah, these wires tend to get pretty dirty. I always think that they like burn, but they're not. They're just incredibly dirty. So let's see what we got here. Oh, I guess I could turn on my lamp. Oh, my lighting's not good on today for this machine. Got these stepper units. This one is the magic screen unit. Looks all right. Here's the timer unit. Looks like somebody's bent that finger up at some point. It's touching those, so I guess it's all right. Here's the reflex unit, which somebody has also tampered with, because look at this. Bent all the fingers up off the board, which is stupid because There's literally an adjustment for that. You could turn that on or off. So that'll need to be messed with. Here's another adjustment. Blue score booster. It's turned off. Here's another stepper unit here. This one's called the winner unit. I don't know what that does, but I guess we'll find out. And the little relay right here called the mixer number 4 relay. That's quite strange. Extra balls adjustment. Once again, they're all turned off. Now here's our little trip relay bank. Just like Broadway, look the same. Blue score booster relay, red score booster relay, yellow score booster relay, rollover relay, tilt relay, extra ball number 1 relay, extra ball number 2 relay. That's weird. I don't know why there's 2, but I guess there is. Select before 5th relay and select before 4th selector lock, before 5th selector lock. Typical. Here are our score units for the colors. This one is the green. Doesn't look all that great, but here's the red. This one's different from this one, it looks like. Both of these really. Wonder why. Also looks eh. All this is eh in eh condition really. Here's the yellow score. Let's see. All these have stepped up. Let's see if they reset. Oh, okay. I would expect those to be locked up. Let's maybe see this one. Yeah, look at that. Okay. Well, that's good at the very least. Yeah, look how good they reset and step up. Well, that's good. That means nobody's sprayed WD-40 on this crap. This stepper unit here is called the something unit. Guess we'll find out later. It's only got a few contacts, so it must be, I don't know. That switch stack though. Probably does something big. There's another switch here. Let's reset. This one steps up pretty good. And of course the mixer unit. That's pretty much in every game except for 6-card games. It's the spotting disc, spotting wiper. I wonder what, I've seen this on like a bunch of games. I wonder what that's for. Or something. Spool fingers. Index lock. I think this is what burnt up. Let's see if the coil is stuck. Oh, no? Look, it moves. And that must have happened a long time ago, this burn up. I don't know. Because the coil still has the black wrapper on it, which is what all these 50 games have. We got the extra step, which is this little contraption here, and as you can see, someone has purposely bent the spool fingers up. Apparently this is very common. Operators hate this feature, so they'll do everything in their power to make this game much more harder and rigged. Okay, they took the little thing that goes here off that, and the spring's gone too. Go figure. And there's also a switch there that looks heavily bent out of the way. And here's, of course, the mixer discs themselves. Pulse cams, motor, both wires are on it this time. Yeah, it looks in okay shape. Guess we'll know if it runs or not. And of course the search relays. This game actually has 6 of them. Look, search relay number 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Because of all the scoring opportunities you have in this game. So that's it for the back door, pretty much. Inside the head here, here's the CPU, the control unit. It looks pretty bad. It's got dust all over it. Some of these switches are probably all screwed up. And they feel grimy too. And there's a resistor there. Well, that's weird. It's different now. This one's different. Might be 100 ohm. Can't show much because there's not much room here. Here's the search disc. All the rivets are all screwed up. Another thing about this game is it was the first to have the R button. You know, the search for any wins. So when you press the button, this relay pulls in, this will spin. And once it gets done spinning, it goes back to home and stops and sits like this. Because what happened before that was every time this was spinning too, and apparently it wears out the fingers over time. The ones on Broadway didn't look all that bad, but I don't know. I guess that must have been a reoccurring issue or something they thought of in advance and decided to put it in all the other machines that they were making. So we got a little stepper unit down there. What's it called? The extra ball unit. And it doesn't look great. Probably because since it's sitting up like this, all the dust settles on it, makes the contacts all dirty. And then we got the magic screen unit itself. So this is a pretty complex setup, it looks like. There's all these gears and discs. I use a chain to move around. Looks like this is the motor here. Looks like this, I think how it works is this, there's a relay or a coil there, pulls in, and this can turn 1/4. Well, it doesn't want to turn, it's all locked up, I think. There's a switch there. Some more switches here. I think under here is a big ol' contact wiper. Yeah, there you go. We'll give you a better look at this once we work through and have this panel folded down. Of course, all the sections there. Looks like there's the panel for all the light bulbs behind it. We got these stepper units here. These are the replay counters, it looks like. There's the yellow one. There's the red, the green. Those are probably all locked up to be honest, but you never know. These diagrams here. Looks like this is for the magic screen unit, looks like. Can't read what it says, it's got all this crap all over the paper. Patent notice. Of course, the replay register unit. And of course, the traditional 5 relays here. The red button, star anti-cheat, replay reset, and I guess in this game, right button. That probably runs the the right motor, because there's actually two motors in here. This is one of them right here, and then the other one is right here, it looks like, because you know this moves left and right. And of course the Jones plugs down here. We got the playfield ones unplugged because we got to pull it out later. I think the biggest problem and that caught my eye was this mess here. So I don't know if somebody did this or if this was how it was, but I didn't do this. So the fuse block is either broken or snapped off the back wall there. That's gonna need to be put back, and this will need to be assessed because we cannot plug it in like this. It's very bad and very dangerous. Of course, the transformer, which looks okay from a glance. So it'll have to be the first thing we do before we plug it up. So I think what we'll do next is we'll pull the glass out, see if I can get this coin door open. It does have a key on it though, but it doesn't turn. So that's probably not even for out the pry it open probably. We'll look at the playfield better and under it, see what goodies are in the cabinet. All right, got the coin door open. That key didn't fit it, so I had to pry it open. Take a look at it. As you can see though, this is the original coin door, just got the stupid metal plate over it. I did see these little numbers here. Somebody was doing some math or something. Got the coin mech in it. Coin switch. Seems to be clicking pretty good. This is the red button, it looks like. This is the yellow button, I presume, or I might have it backwards actually. Oh no, I got it right. I think. I don't know. I think this is the yellow button. The yellow button usually has more switches on it because that's to activate the trip relay. With this coin hopper, tilt switch, where's the door lock switch. As you can see, it has the original coin box still in it. So that's cool. Your meters, replay meters. One of those is, I think this was the, yeah, this is the total plays. And this one, I'm not sure, but it does have the keys in it. So I have to see if those fit any locks. I'm hoping one of them fits to one of those side rails there, because I'll have to get the glass out to change the light bulbs and work back there. Ball trough, you know, you can't really see it too well, but just showing you what it looks like when you open the door. I took the glass out, so here's a better look at the playfield. Lots of dirt. I don't think it was ever cleaned, to be honest. Hopefully it'll clean up pretty good. I think it will. Might be missing a couple lamp covers. At least this one's broke. So subtract more of them down, because nobody makes reproductions of those right now. So I had to find them the hard way. But that's okay. So it looks like these two screws are missing, so I guess I just gotta take out these two here to lift up the playfield. Then we can look in there. Alright, took the playfield out and I scavenged around in the back for goodies. That's all just debris I gotta vacuum up. But this is what I found back there. So very rusty piece of metal. Not sure where this goes to. It's got a couple screw holes. Maybe it goes over here somewhere, not sure. A piece of wood, probably not for this, but maybe. Basically just a bunch of pieces of metal and some dimes. Here's that missing lamp cover. Didn't find the broken piece though. Here's a power switch. And speaking of power switch, this one over here is all loose, so you need to find the screw. I think this is probably it right here. So I'll screw that back in. It's one of the screws with the playfield. A bunch of these little spacers for switch stacks. There's a switchblade there that's probably broke. Little spool finger there. This is probably for the coin switch, to be honest. Various pieces of metal. These little spacer discs go on these screws here. Show you. They're for the playfield, like such. Little ring there. Little screw for a switch stack as well. And of course, a bunch of dimes. And I think this machine may have accepted dimes at some point, because I was saying this is the original coin box. Well, it doesn't look like it. Pull it out and show you. Because the coin boxes don't look like these, but if you look, I found there's a bunch of dimes in there. So I think this machine may have been accepting dimes at some point, or this is from a different machine. Let's see, what does it say down there? 1982. These are probably old dimes, to be honest. 1977, looks like. What does this one say? 1985. Yeah, that gives you an idea. I think this gives you an idea. So, you know, I'll clean all this out. I'll vacuum that. Here's the bottom of the playfield. I'll show that better once we put it back in. And also there's that board there that sits right here. Yeah, so let me clean this up a little bit, and then we'll show you the bottom of the playfield. All right, got that board back in there. I put all the little goodies in the coin box there. Does have all 8 pinballs though, so that's good. One thing I noticed though is that the ball lift cover is missing, so hopefully we won't need it. I also put that screw back there down on the coin, or the power switch. There's the tilt bob. Of course, the switches for the buttons. Shooter rod. So here's the bottom of the playfield. And for starters, you can see the bulbs for the rollovers missing. But then look at this. So it looks like the operator who owned this machine purposely rigged it. I hate when operators do that. No biggie though. Oh, this switch tag is a little different. Usually there's a big piece of plastic there. Not many on this one. Here's our lifter start relay. These switches are probably all screwed the hell up, but maybe not. We'll see. Can't see them too well, but this might work. And the shutter motor. All the switches are probably all jacked up. So those will need to be cleaned, of course. The shutter panel, it's in good condition. There's the runway switch, which is it stuck closed? No. Just barely closed though. Might need to change that. I'm not sure. It's all worn down. So that's about it for this playfield. There's the switches and the ball lip. There's also, I noticed there's a third one. There's usually only 2 switch stacks. Not sure, but that's just how it was designed. I didn't design this. So we'll lay the playfield back down, and then we'll mess with that jumbled mess back there before we turn it on. Okay, so we're gonna sort this. We gotta sort this mess up before we plug it in, but as you can see, there's 3 separate fuse blocks. This one here is original, but it's supposed to look like this with this color plastic. I'm assuming this is plastic. And this one here is a brand new one that somebody has put in there. And I guess either the fuse clips broke off or this broke off or both, and they decided to put a new one in there. But they did have screws in them, but I guess they couldn't mount them to the board. The wood kind of looks messed up, but I also took the fuses out. We'll check to see if they're good or if they're correct amperage. So I think the first thing I'll do is I'll try to mount these to the board, especially over the labels there, so we know what is what. And then we'll check the fuses, and then we'll see if we can just like sort this out, because now it's obviously not supposed to be soldered like this. We could just put tape around it and have it like that for now, but I know I was trying to look at some pictures of people's online, and how this is laid out is this cord runs through here and is mounted here where this screw is, and this runs up here and is basically mounted right here. Then it goes to the transformer, but the thing is, I'm not sure how, because that's the only thing that's there. So I might just see if I can stuff the wires behind this little piece right here, and then just keep it like that. That way they're not touching, and then I might just put tape around it for now. I checked, and it does seem to be wired up correctly, so it's not like that's, it's wired incorrectly or anything. I think I'll double check just to be sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how it's supposed to be. And then if we need to change it later on, or if I find out how it's supposed to look, we'll go from there. So that's the plan. So I'll mess with this, and then I'll mess with this, and then I'll show you what I came up with and how it looks. All right, this is what I came up with. It's a little bit cleaner. I didn't do anything about this, just in case, it's supposed to be wired a certain way or not, whatnot. But not sure if it is correct. I'll find some heat shrink tubing to put around that. And the fuse blocks, I mounted them in their corresponding order. I checked the fuses, and all but one were the wrong value. They weren't blown, luckily, but they were all, one of them, the 3 amp, that was correct, but all the rest were 15 amp, and they're all supposed to be 10 amp. So, so these 2 are the correct values. I found 10 amps, but the rest of these are all 15 amp, because I don't have any 10 amp ones. So we'll just have to assume that those lines are okay. Nothing catastrophic is going to happen. But I guess now we can go ahead and plug it in. There's our goofy little power cord, and see what she do, which I don't think is going to be much. Probably the units will turn, assuming the motors aren't screwed up. But again, none of the fuses were blown, so leads me to believe that it was running before it was parked forever. So we'll just have to hope that nothing bad happens. So I'll go ahead and plug it in, and then we'll try it out, assuming the switch is turned off, which I hope. Ooh boy. About almost fell out of my chair. So I went to plug it in, and it went pow! So luckily I didn't really have it touching to it because it was hard to plug in, but yeah, some smoke went everywhere, and I was trying to figure out, I was looking over here to see if I figure out why it was doing that, but then I looked at the power cord, and I don't know how I missed this. So this is a big no-no. So looks like I need to fix this. But I checked the fuse, and it's good. It didn't blow, so. And my circuit didn't trip, so. Yeah, I guess I'll have to take care of that, and then we can try it again. Okay, so here's my makeshift repair for now. Unless I forget to fix that later on. But I plugged it in and no pow, so I think we might be good. So now let's try it, hitting the switch, and see if it'll turn on. So what do you think? Think it's gonna do anything? Is it gonna blow up? Well, only one way to find out. All right, here we go. Okay. That's nice. Got some lights. Looks like someone put a blinker bulb back there. Our motors aren't running though. I don't see anything on fire. Oh, it's in tilt. Okay. Well, I guess some switches must be clean enough for it to be, for it to know that the timer's all the way up. So, you think it will start a game? Hell, it might. Let's hit the coin switch and see. Wow, would you look at that? Shutter open and kick the ball out, and we have some scores. The mixer's running. Those motors sound like crap though. Huh. Well, let's keep hitting the switch and see what happens. Okay, our score has stepped up. I saw some lights move. Okay. There we go. Oh, there's an arrow there. Okay. We're starting to get some lights now. Let's see if we can light the magic screen. No. Those clutches aren't probably bad. Come on, give me the magic screen. There's no way the lights are out. You can see them. I want to see it give me it automatically without me having to There we go. Okay. Set that. Shoot a ball. Let's see if it will score. Oh god. Ball. Shooter rod sucks like the other one. Shutter closed. Next ball is out. There's number 3 ball. Alright, let's see if the magic screen works. I'm gonna hit right. Oh, that don't work. There we go. I'd hit left. So we're in A, B, C, and D. There we go. Oh, it's working. Would you look at that? I was expecting this game to be a piece of crap. Guess I was wrong. The next ball. $23, okay. There's 7. Those are press buttons now. Okay, do we have anything I can score in? Well, there's the stripe sections, but I don't have that feature lit unless the bulb is out, but probably not. We'll just leave it as is. Okay. There's our timer unit stepping up. Playfield is too steep. Oh, that pinball is so bad. Okay, try again. Okay. Here's the last ball. Oh, well. Okay. Yeah, so there we go. I can't believe it. It went through a whole game with no trouble whatsoever. Oh, something just fell out of the machine there. But of course, there's probably still many things wrong with it. Like obviously, this is a problem here. Our lights don't work. That looks horrible. But hey, it plays. So we just got to go through everything again. And just try and get it up and running. So yeah, I guess now that we know that we have a game that somewhat works, we can start cleaning through every single contact. So I'll shut it off and we'll start cleaning everything here in the back door. Alright, so the first zipper unit we're going to look at is the magic screen feature unit. This one's pretty dirty, like it's got old grease and shit all over it. All of these stepper units seem to step up fine, at least on the back door. I didn't check the ones inside the head or whatnot. But just gotta clean the rivets and the fingers on it. Most of these work already, but I'm just gonna knock this out because these two we need to look at more in depth, because this one especially has a problem I'm gonna show you. But I'll knock this out. I'll clean this up a bit, especially the gear on the back here. It's all icky and grimy looking. And then I'll show you what our problem with our timer unit is. Alright, so I took care of the magic screen stepper unit. So now we're going to look at the timer unit, which has a bit of issues. So the first thing is, you can see some of these rivets are burnt up, so I need to look into that, why that is. Hope we didn't burn up the wires though. It doesn't look like it though. But the other problem that we're having is the post is missing. You know, to close the top set switches, which I think is just this one right here. So that's missing, and I didn't see it in the cabinet, so it looks like we'll have to make one, I guess. Because without that, that switch can't close and the game can't go into tilt. But yeah, there's not many. This timer unit's different than the other ones I've seen so far. There's not many fingers, and it doesn't have that many steps either. It stops right about there. But I'll do my usual, just clean it up. Then I gotta clean the switches there, and then I'll see if I could find something to replace that post with. I'll let you know if I figure that out. All right, got the timer unit cleaned up. Looks pretty good. Clean all that burnt stuff. You can see the rivets there that are kind of messed up, but they should work still. And as far as the post, that's what I came up with, our makeshift post. I just took a Phillips head screw, screwed it in there a little bit, and just hacked off the head, and I tried it, and it seems that it'll do the trick. See, now the switch is closed, and that switch will activate the trip relay for tilt. So that seems like it'll work. But to be sure, we're actually gonna try it. So I'll mount this back to the door, and then we'll turn it on. I'll play a game, and then once the timer unit starts stemming up, we'll see if once it reaches the top, if it will close that switch and trip the relay like it should. All right, so started the game. I played 3 balls, so when I shoot this 4th ball, it should trip the lockout coils in the trip bank, and it should start stepping up the timer unit. There we go, I heard it trip. Let that ball go where it will. You can see it stepping up. Okay, looks like it's about to close the switch. Boom, there we go. The game is over, and we're in tilt. That's good. So it looks like we fixed that. So now we can move on. All right, so here's the reflex unit, and you can see what they did. They lifted all the fingers up off the rivets, pretty much. So by doing that, they permanently made the game much harder to play. And by that I mean, like, you basically had to put like probably at least like 10 nickels in it just for it to give you a feature, like, or even just a light, an arrow, or a score, you know. But we're gonna put this back how it's supposed to be, and all I gotta do is I just gotta take this off and bend the fingers back, clean the rivets up a little bit. It looks like the magnet coils pull in fine, least that one does. This one down here. Yeah, this wheel turns pretty good. I'll turn it by hand, see it move. Yeah, so I don't think I'll need to oil that. I might anyway, just so that nothing happens in the future. Here's the inside, just a bunch of gears and whatnot. So I'll take care of this, and then I'll probably clean those two little adjustments off camera. And then we can do this big old relay bank. All right, that's much better. Clean the rivets a little bit. So I just left that this position. But next thing we're gonna do is all these switches on these on this relay bank here. I took apart this one and we'll look at it. They're all dirty and oxidized looking, it seems. So we'll just clean through all of these, and if I find anything that's weird, I'll show it to you, but other than that, we'll just move right along. And I also did these two adjustments here. So I'll knock this out, and then we'll move on. Okay, cleaned all the switches. I didn't really see anything wrong with any of them. One of them, can't remember which one now, but might have been this one here. So it was all bent weird, but the thing is, it was making contact both ways, so I don't know, but I bent it back as best I could, and it seems to be pretty all right now. And I cleaned all this right here. This wasn't too bad. I was able to clean the little sockets behind it, but that's how it looks now. So now we'll have all our extra balls. Clean this one little switch right here. Then I cleaned the cabinet tilt switch. So now we're gonna mess with this stepper unit here, which is the winner unit. It doesn't look all that great, as you can see. It's mounted like this, so all the dirt will settle on top of it. Probably like this one where it won't conduct all that great. Not sure what this is for though, but there are a bunch of switches on the back, so it's probably pretty important, I'd imagine. But it does step up pretty good. It's only got a few steps. So I'm just gonna do my thing, take the little spider off, clean the rivets. It looks like a bunch of these aren't used really, I think. Let's see. Yeah, this finger doesn't go very far. Neither does that one. So all these ones up here are pretty much unused. I think, I'm not sure, but either way, we'll get it clean, and then we can move on to all these ones up here. All right, finished up this unit. It wasn't too bad, really. So now I'm gonna look at this unit here, which I still don't know what this one is. I never bothered to look, but it is active during gameplay, which I figured. It's got a little thing going on here, so that somebody either added this wire or no, I don't think it was added. Tried extending it. So I'm just gonna end up replacing the whole thing with some random wire that I have. It's got a bunch of switches on the back. There's also one right here too, which looks like it closes when this latch locks there, and then when it releases, looks like it opens, I think. No, it closes. Okay, I think I see what's going on. I think it might be misadjusted. So it's closed right now, which is barely open. That'll probably need some adjustment. I'll mess with that in a bit, but There's not much to this one. Just a few fingers and rivets, really. It only has a few steps too. And it does stop on those last rivets, and it resets. So I'll just clean this up, replace that wire, clean the switches, and then we should be good with that one. And then we can do all these score ones too for all the colors. So I'll knock this out and then we can keep moving. Alright, I finished up this stepper unit. It wasn't all that difficult. The switch stack kind of fell apart back there, so that took like an additional 30 minutes to try and figure out. But I got it. Now it steps up pretty good. So now we're gonna do these three score units. So I don't have a lot of room here to mess with them because of how they're wired, but there's a couple of switches on the back. Looks to be the same for all of them. That one only has one. I think same for that one. So this is the only one that has two. This is the yellow one. These ones are kind of worse than the other ones, but that's no big deal. We'll just clean them up as we go. So I'll mess with this one, and then I'm just gonna do the other two off camera. And once we're done with that, then we can mess with everything up here. So I'll knock this out, then I'll do those two, and then we can move on. Okay, I got all three of these score units cleaned up. This one here, which is the green one, I believe, was a completely different story. Everything was so bad on it. All the fingers were all black and tarnished. The switch down here was all screwed up. I had to reverse the little switches themselves around because they were so bad. Same with that one up there. But it's all good now. So the next thing we're going to work on is the mixer unit. So this one's in pretty rough shape. It did operate and you saw it do its thing. But this is obviously an issue. The score extra step feature, it just freewheels, which it shouldn't, because they've hacked it to where the switch just stays closed and this just keeps spinning. And they also moved these out of the way instead of in these channels down here where they should be. And up here they've taken the thing that goes here that makes the switches close and open when this pulls in. So that I have to figure out what I'm gonna do. But I believe everything else is how it should be. These switches are all screwed up too. I don't know how the discs look, really. You can kind of see some of them. Some not in there. But looks like it's working pretty good. This one you gotta move a bit, but so I gotta take it apart, and I went ahead and kind of got a head start on this pin there because that gave me a lot of trouble in the previous games. But it kind of popped right out this time, so that's good. So I just gotta take this screw out and basically remove all this. I think I have to take the whole thing apart to get everything out, if I remember. I'll figure that out sooner or later. But yeah, I'll take it apart and then I'll show you what it looks like and what needs to be cleaned. Alright folks, there it is. All the parts taken apart. Here's the mixer discs themselves. Here's the motor and the shaft. You can see it's really grimy looking. There's the spotting wiper. There's the clutch gear. This is the Score Extra Step assembly. And then up here, here's everything that I couldn't take apart. Like, here's all the discs. You can see they all, that one doesn't look too bad. These two. This one's kind of worse. And then this one's much worse. At least this row. I don't think these ones are used. Well, maybe. But, yeah, that one there is kind of burnt. There's two switches there. And then, of course, the other assemblies here. I went ahead and messed with the Score Extra Step latch. I noticed that it was missing the spring. So I was able to find one and make it work. So hopefully that should help. I bent these back already, these spool fingers. Got the switch out of there because both of these need to be cleaned. That one needs to be bent back in place. And as for this here, I don't know if I can get the little plate that goes there for this specific game. So what I decided to do is I'm just going to steal it from this one, and then I'm going to craft my own replacement and put it here. So that's the plan for that. Over here, got these other spool fingers that will need cleaning. And then here's this whole huge disc that will need to be cleaned. It's pretty bad. Not too bad though, but it ain't great. And then there's the switch here. I gotta see if I can. I don't know if it's supposed to be bent that far out, but probably not. So I'll bend that back, and then that's pretty much it. Also probably oil the motor too. So I'm gonna go through everything, clean what I'm gonna do. Oh, I gotta oil the clutches too, especially this one for the spotting disc, because I've noticed it's been slipping. And that's pretty much it. So I'll clean it up as best I can, and I'll show you how it looks before I put it back together, because I may want to show something that I didn't go too into depth with. But then we'll move along. So I'll take care of all this and I'll be back shortly. Okay, I cleaned everything that I wanted to clean. Cleaned the 4 discs. They're all good. I cleaned the shaft with some oil, and also oiled the motor a bit. I didn't do the clutches yet. Cleaned the Score Extra Step unit. The switch down there is all clean, and all the grooves down there are all nice and shiny. 360. I cleaned the spotting wiper. The grooves down there were already okay, so I didn't have to mess with them. But someone had actually was messing with this before, because these two right here were already clean, and it looks like somebody had sanded them down a bunch. It was like, look how flat it is. So hopefully that will still work, you know, compared to these ones. But I don't know, should be okay. And then up here, these switches are clean. These ones too. All the 4 discs are clean. I sanded them down. I fixed this. The spring was also missing too, so I had to steal that, but that's now how it should be. The switches are put back on these. And this seems to be working good. The switch closes when the bar hits it. Same with this one. Those are all good. I bent this one back, but I think that's how it's supposed to be, but I guess we'll find out. Those are clean too. And this is clean, the spotting disc. So yeah, all I gotta do now is just put it back together. That shouldn't take too long, but I guess we'll find out. So I'll do that and I'll come back when it's done and we can move right along. All right, folks, I did it after like 4 hours, but got it all back together. Mixers are back in place. Scores to step is how it should be. There's that relay I talked about. It's all good now. That switch is no longer bent inward. Let's see how it should be. And these spotting disc, it's all nice and shiny. And also cleaned the search relays too while I was at it. So those are all good. Here's my little contraption that I made up for this little relay. See, it works, so therefore it's not stupid. Because you know, I took it up here for this one, and the spring as well. So we'll see if that will work. So yeah, I guess we'll turn it on. We'll try it and see if our scores to step works, or basically to see if the whole thing works or if I mess something up. Okay, well, we kind of got a little issue going on. So it has to do with the score unit. So we push in the tilt relay and you'll see what's going on. So this just steps up, and I was messing with this mixer right here, and it was originally on stepping up this one, but then I spun this a bit, now it's stepping up this one. So we got a problem with our score extra step relay or something that keeps pulling in. I looked at these switches and none of them are stuck closed. So I'm not sure what the deal is, but I looked in the schematics and they call it the score booster relay. And they only show it for these two stepper units here, the red and yellow. It does not show anything with the green, which I thought was odd because there's also a switch down here and hitting that makes this pull in, so I'm not sure why it's not labeled in the schematics, but maybe I just wasn't looking far enough. But it told me it showed me that there was an alternative way that that relay pulls in, and on the control unit here, it's telling me cam 9 and switch C, I think. It's an alternate cam 9C. Also makes that pull in. So I'm counting, this is cam, or switch 1. Yeah, cam 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one here. And if you look at it, it doesn't really look all that great. It looks all mangled and jumbled up. So one of those switches is probably just barely stuck closed, and it's only like closing for like a moment because this whole thing is like moving just slightly. Maybe I'll be able to capture it in a moment here, but I'm actually gonna ignore anything here that may be the problem for now. I'm only gonna focus on this at the moment. So I'll pull this out and we'll take a look at it. Okay, took the control unit apart. Some bits and pieces there. Here's the search disk. It's pretty bad on this one. And there's the switch here. There's the switch stack in question. This just moves around because there's nothing holding in place, but let's have it looks like that. So it looks like just this bottom switch down here is all bent up. I just gotta bend that back and hopefully that will fix it, maybe adjust some of them as well. So I'll just clean all the switches. And then when this is done, I gotta clean the Jones plugs, but I'll come back when I got all this taken care of because it's a lot. Okay, so I put the control unit back together. I had finished it up. And I tried it, same exact shit. So I was looking around and I noticed whichever score unit would pull in, that I would see some kind of like arcing in this mixer here. And it turns out see if I can find it. It's inside there. There, you see it right there in the center. That little arm there that rides around that gold plate there, that allows power to run through this disc. It was actually kind of shorted to the shaft. So whenever this would move slightly, it would touch and make this pull in, whichever one pulled in. So it was actually happening on this one too. So I bent those out of the way, and that is no longer an issue, it seems. So cross that off the list. The Score Extra Step unit itself, this little thing here, it's still quite not right. Or not quite right, but because what's happening is the clutch is slipping, so this doesn't turn as great. You can see right there. So I'll need to look at that again, but I'm not gonna look at that or look at this anymore because I've just been juggling the same problem for the past, I don't even know how long, but because we still got all this other stuff to do. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna ignore this for now. We'll come back to it later. And then we gotta clean everything here on the back door, or not the back door, the lamp panel. So I'll fold this back down, and then we'll see which unit we can start on. Okay, I got the lamp panel folded down. There's the back glass. I think I've decided to do it in a circular order. So I'm gonna start with this stepper unit, and then do these two, and then jump over there to those relays, and then the replay counter, the extra ball unit, and then finish off with the magic screen unit. So the first one I'm gonna do is this one. And as you can see, it's all pretty bad. Luckily, all of these stepper units in this game surprisingly step up pretty good, actually. They're not stuck. All of these ones, let's see. They all reset good too. But they're just all dirty, all three of these. And this is the older ones that have the copper traces. The newer ones are more, I guess more simple, you want to call it, because there's not that many traces, and there's only one finger on the wiper. You know what I'm talking about. But I gotta take this one apart and clean it. Gotta clean the switch back there. But those should all clean up pretty good. So I'll basically do what I did with the score units. I'll show this one and then just do these two off camera. Then we'll jump over there. So I'll show you this one when it's all done, and then we'll move on. All right, I cleaned all 3 of those stepper units. As you can see, they're all shiny and clean now. So now I'm jumped over here. I'm gonna do these 5 relays here. I took apart the switch stack on this one so you could see. You know, they're all dirty and tarnished, just like they always do. So I'll just go through all of them, clean them up, and then that should be that. Then I gotta look at this replay register because something's going on with it that I'll show in a moment. But I'll knock this out. Okay, got through all those. There was nothing really wrong with them, just dirty contacts, really. Now we're gonna move on to the replay register, and this is the problem I was talking about. So the nuts that hold it down are missing. This one on this side is right here. I just took it off because I need to take the whole thing out anyway because I need to clean the score reels. But basically I just gotta clean the score reels, of course, and I gotta oil this because it's a bit stiff. That's the reset, but let's see here. It moves, but it's not as free as it usually should be. Then I gotta clean all the switches on here as well. And look for a little nut to put there, and then that'll be it. So I'll knock this out and we can move on. And if you're wondering why I'm not showing the process, I'm going through everything as well. There's really nothing to show because there's like hundreds of videos of people showing how to clean, like, you know, the stepper units, the switches. So I don't feel the need to film my own version and make the video twice as long. So that's why I just cut to everything being cleaned. So I'll do just that. Okay, so got it back together, I cleaned it up, but for whatever reason, the one's reel is all scratched up. I don't know why, but it is apparently. And even though I was using wax to clean the reels, the ink still faded off most of the numbers. So you could probably see, I had to ink a lot of them back, and I had to ink all the ones on the single digits with the ones reel, and I inked in a few on the tens digits, and I think like 1 or 2 on the hundreds digits, but that's all good now. I put the nuts back on, and now it ain't going anywhere, so that problem is fixed. So now we're gonna look at the extra ball unit. All right, here's the extra ball unit. Now this one looks really bad, but it's just dusty because it's sitting like this, so all the dust will accumulate on the contacts over time and make it look bad. But it's just dusty, I think. But I'll do the same thing as I always do. There's no switch on this one. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah. So all I gotta do is just clean the spider and the contacts, and that'll be that. So I'll knock that out and show you how it looks. That's much better. It steps up good, resets good. Now that one's out of the way, so I'll mount this back there, and then we'll look at the magic screen unit. All right, so here's the magic screen unit. It's actually not that complicated. There's not a lot to this whole mechanism here. So basically you got one switch here, and then you got a small switch stack over here. That's it. That's literally the only switches on it. But then you got back here, you got this big old contact board, and this wiper is mounted here, and I went ahead and took it off as you saw. It has this little thread on it that holds it in place. It's that one was like 5/64 of an inch, and it just screws in on this shaft here, and there's no hole, so you could adjust that to your liking, and it should be marked too. See right there, see how it's marked? So when you put this on, it should be lined up like such, so that way you won't mess it up and put it in the wrong spot. And then of course there's all your light bulbs under there, which I will need to see how I can get to, because I need to replace them. Or maybe, I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't think I ever checked if they all worked. I think they all do, but I'll take them out and clean them anyway. And you also got this chain here you could oil. These gears, you could oil all of this too if you're just messed up, or you could put grease on it like the factory did. There's your coil there that pulls in. And that disc turns, and it turns 1/4. The screen shifts left or right. But yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna clean this. It's got an odd shape, don't it? Clean this. Clean the 2 switches. I'm gonna oil some of this too. It already moves pretty good. You saw it already. I'll clean some of the sections on the screen here, because they're pretty dirty too. And I'll check the light bulbs. So yeah, that's about it. Oh, there's clutches down here that you'll need to oil too, in case yours are messed up. And you can oil the motor too. So I'll take care of that. I'll see how I can get to the light bulbs, and then I will be back. Okay, I was able to get it out. Gonna have to maneuver it out of there. I had to take this shield loose. There's a couple screws there. Same for the other side. So this sits in there like such. Slides in there, and it's mounted right here underneath the screen by a couple screws down there. And then there's these 2 posts that sit right here that I had to take off because they wouldn't come out otherwise. And then, let's see, oh, something fell in there. And then you can pull that out. It gives you access to all the bulbs. And of course, they're covered by this shield. That's what it looks like on the back. I already waxed it to clean it up, where the transparent parts shine through. And then you can replace all your light bulbs. What I did is I just cleaned the globes, because I think all these bulbs work, and these bulbs are kind of expensive, so I don't want to have to replace all them if I can help it. Some of them already have been replaced. And I believe these replaced ones are 1464s, and the original ones are 1458s, I believe. That one doesn't say. Check this one. Kind of see something there. 46, 40 something. Yeah, weird bulbs, but I believe they work, so I'll just leave them as is. And then as for this, I gotta clean the top. I gotta clean the bottom, like I said. This is held in not sure which way it goes right now, but let's say it like this. Usually slides in like that, but it's on wrong right now, just for demonstration. But that's how you get access to the bulbs if you need to change yours. Because you could actually take this all apart. Like there's the 2 screws down there. You can take this entire piece out, which would have been helpful, but I can't reach those 2 screws with any screwdrivers that I have. And then you could take more of that apart, but I mean, who's got the time for that? So I'm just gonna work with what I got here. So I'll clean this up and we'll put this back together, and then we'll see how it looks. And then I gotta clean the front of the magic screen. All right, I got it back together now. Show you from the back. And I cleaned it up as best I could, but it turned out, still a lot of dirt. If I used the magic eraser, it would probably help it, but I'm not sure if it would take up the paint or not. But that's out of the way, so everything in the head is done, which is good, except for that one little mishap with the mixer unit, which we'll come back to later. But what I think I'm gonna do next is swap all the light bulbs. So I want to do show you what it looks like before I do that. Is that an LED? Doesn't look like it. Might be frosted white. Yeah, it's frosted white. See the glass underneath? Oh, that's interesting. So yeah, lots of mixtures of different types of bulbs. 55s, 44s, 47s. And you can see over here that these ones here are completely missing. And the ones underneath the playfield are missing too. Extra ball lights. Yeah, we'll just replace all of them. Then we'll slide the glass back and we'll see how it looks, which is gonna be pretty bad because the glass is in really bad shape, but we'll see. All right, there we go. That's much better. I ended up with some extras, which is good because I can use them for the playfield and underneath for those 2 rollovers. So now I think we'll put the crummy old back glass back in. We'll see how it looks. All right, back glass is in. By the way, this key, I'm not really sure. This lock is like really screwed up, but it fits in there and it turns it. So that's the one that I use to have access to that backboard. So let's turn it on and see how it looks. Hopefully it's in tilt. Okay. Wait, I left the kind of stepped up. Man, look at that. Playfield is still ugly, but that looks so much better, even with this old crusty back glass. Get some, oh, is there a bulb back there? I guess not. Maybe we'll have to do another light mod. But yeah, there you have it. So I think the next thing we'll do is we will work under the playfield now. I'll set it up where I have the playfield up, and then we'll start working through everything underneath and inside the cabinet as well. All right, we're inside the cabinet now, and the first thing we're gonna look at is the ball lift motor. Now all of this works really, but it just needs to be tuned up a bit. And as you can see, it's got 3 switches instead of 2. So all this is like really smooth, but I'm just gonna oil it anyway. There's the motor down there. Gotta clean the switches, then I'll oil the assembly. It's pretty rusty, but I'll leave it as is. And then there'll be, oh, I also got to clean the switch underneath there and also do the trough too while I'm at it. So yeah, I'll knock this out real quick. Alright, everything over here on this side is now clean. I cleaned the trough switches. There wasn't really anything wrong with them other than just being dirty. Same with all those switches and all the ones over here. The ball with motor is oiled and the assembly is oiled. I replaced the shooter rod tip, but I have not actually cleaned up the actual shooter rod itself yet, because I'm going to do that once we do the cosmetics. I also oiled the rod too. And I replaced some of the pinballs, or most of them really, just the 3 extra ones are semi-original. I cleaned them up though as best I could, and that's how they're going to be, which is alright with me. Clean the switches down there. So now I'm going to do everything on this side, which is just the coin door and this Jones plug. So this is how the coin door looks on this game. Just a few switches, one here, one here, one here. That's about it. So I'll just gotta clean all this up, really. I don't think I have to do anything too serious to this when the switch works. Oh, and also, you know how I found a bunch of dimes down there in the coin box? Well, that apparently this mechanism is for 10 cents. So yes, this game is supposed to take dimes. So that's cool. Now I don't have to mess with that or anything. So it looks like I'll just have to clean the Jones plug. It doesn't look that bad, really. And clean the socket over there. And then I gotta clean these 2 switches as well. But that'll be it for the cabinet. So then once all that is done, I can start on the playfield. So I'll be back once all that is done. Alright, clean up all the rest of the switches on the coin door. Clean the Jones plug a little bit. Looks good. And the switches, of course. Let's see here. It's hard to see them, but those are all good. I didn't really clean these 2 because this is just for like the door and this is just for the tilt. So yeah, that's it for the cabinet. So I'll lay the playfield back down in here and then we'll start working on it. Oh, and I also cleaned this plate as well. Alright, here we are under the playfield again. So there's not too much on this one. We're going to start on this end this time and then work our way down to the bottom. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to assess this problem here. These are the 2 rollovers, and you can see they've been rigged pretty much. The switches have been bent out of the way so that you can't trigger them even if they are lit, and the light bulbs are gone. So I'm going to clean the switches on those, put new light bulbs in them, and I'll clean that runway switch too. And then I'll take the shutter off, and then we can clean all the switches inside all the holes. Alright, clean the 2 switches down there. They look good, and bent them back. I also replaced the light bulbs, so those should work hopefully. Now I've removed the shutter so we can clean all the switches in all 25 holes. So they doesn't really look like they're too bad. They are oxidized though, but they all work as you saw. Pretty much. Gotta get our file down in there. It's kind of difficult to clean these because of the spacing, but it's a little bitter. But I'll go through all of these, clean them up, and then we'll just have these 3 things left to do. Okay, got all the switches cleaned, put the shutter back on. Now we're gonna do the shutter motor itself. So there's a few switch stacks you need to clean, and you can oil the motor, all the pivoting areas, which I already have done, and I'm gonna do the switches. So looks like these ones are just as bad as they usually are. That one I can't move. just gotta clean all of them. And then I'll knock out those two as well. So clean this up and I'll come back and then we can move on. Okay, finished cleaning the shutter motor up. I cleaned all the switches. There's this one screw on this stack that was giving me all kinds of shit, but I managed to get it out and clean that stack. That's all good. So now we're just left with these two switch stacks here. This one is for the lifter start relay. And you can see they're not that great, except for this last one right here. That kind of looks weird. Like, I didn't clean that one. Someone might have before me, but that's okay. And then this one here is for the shutter panel. See, they're all black and tarnished. So I'll clean those and I'll come back when they are all done and they're nice and shiny. Alright, clean both these switch stacks, it was no problem. That one I put back together because I had to adjust them, but I'll show you what this one looks like. All shiny, at least the ones that need to be touching. So there is everything inside the game. We finished all the switches, so now this just left the troubleshooting phase. But before we do that, we'll put it back together, we'll test it, and then we'll see what works and what still doesn't work, which I'm pretty sure is a handful of things, but we'll see. Okay, rest of the playfield back down, and before we do anything else, I'm actually going to take off these steel rails because I'm sick of looking at them. And when I first got this machine, I was wondering if the original rails were hiding underneath it. And if you look, sure enough, they are in fact hiding under there. So I'm gonna take these steel rails off and throw them in the trash because that just ruins the look. I got another Magic Screen game that's just like this too. You'll see it eventually, but that's what I'm gonna do. So I'll take off the steel rails and then we'll see how it looks. Hopefully the wood's not too bad. Alright, I managed to get the steel rails off, no problem. They're there in the trash where they belong. But as you can see, they kind of got a little bit of damage. They kind of been like sanded off a little bit. Like you can tell it's like flat right here. So I gotta see what I can do about that. Probably won't be much, but I might just end up sanding at least the original coat off, so that way it's, you know, the color is the same. So that way I can just stain it again. So that we won't notice it really. These two handles that are supposed to be here are missing, but that's all right. So we got the same thing on this side pretty much. And I also took the stupid metal plate off the coin door, and that looks a lot better, but you can see that the front door's got some damage. But I don't know about y'all, but this does not look like Carnival Queen art. I think someone must have repainted this door at some point. But there's a bunch of holes I gotta fill. I have to get a bunch of wood filler and some Bondo. Try to fix that up as best I can. The foot rail, I'll probably have to do the same thing with the rails, so that way the color's even. I guess it wouldn't matter too much, but you know. But I guess we'll see. We'll turn it on and then we'll see if anything has changed. So let's see here. Probably won't be much, but I guess we'll find out. Okay. Our rollovers aren't lit. The chip relay isn't tripped, so don't know if those are working. The light bulbs at least. So we'll start a game and we'll see. Okay. Get the ball out, our nice shiny new pinball. Let's see. Doesn't seem like. Okay, yeah, our yellow colors aren't working. I'll have to look into that. Oh, I saw the lights flash. See that? That's good. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now we got the little plastics look horrible. Yeah, those are now working, which is good. Let's see. There's red super section. Okay. Let's see. I wonder if we can get our score extra step to work. Okay, we got all the magic screen positions now. That was the yellow score that stepped up. Okay, well, then we got shoot before fifth ball. Well, that's enough for now, but we'll try it. We'll see if the scoring works too. I don't believe we ever checked that at all. 11, okay. See the magic screen. Right arrow's not working anymore. Okay. Okay, we have 2 in the yellow super section, but that's not lit. Number 2, the light's not working. Let's see. I'll have to look into that. Oh, there we go. I guess it's got a bad connection. But yeah, the right arrow's not working. I'll look into that. I think the okay, yeah, so shoot before fifth ball is not working. Number 7. Okay. So that may be another thing. I'm not sure why it goes into tilt so quickly here. You open the door. I have a weird suspicion about this timer unit. I wonder if it's even original, because I'm pretty sure these timer units in these older games have to step up a lot before it reaches the top, and this one doesn't have that much steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Only has 8 steps and it's already at the top. That can't be right. Honestly, it looks like somebody swapped this out. Look at the soldering compared to this stepper unit. Yeah, I think this timer unit came out of a different game. That's gonna be annoying trying to track that down. Maybe, if I can, I might be able to modify it. I might have to drill a hole in the cam, basically move that little post, that screw post that we made, or that I made, and just move it down here, so that way this has to step up a lot before it reaches those switch stacks. Assuming you could step up that far. I don't know, really. Well, so to add that to the list. I don't think the scoring works right now. Like I said, I'm sure I never checked it, but we'll check it after. So I think what I'm gonna do now, I think I'm gonna do the playfield next, because it's really bad and I don't want to keep rolling the ball around it so much. So I'll set up the tripod, and then I'll start cleaning it, and then we'll see how it turns out. So here we go. Okay, so I removed everything that I wanted to remove. Vacuumed it off a little bit so there's not that much heavy dust on it. Took the apron off. And to be honest, I don't think this playfield has ever been cleaned before. It's just so bad. And if you're wondering what all these circles are, that's areas like this around the post where the ball doesn't roll. So that's why it's so clean. And of course it's cleaner underneath the post. And the apron too. So I'm gonna do the usual. Spray some Windex on it. Wipe it off with the magic eraser, because that's what a bunch of people do and it always works for them, so I'm doing it as well. And then we'll see how good it turns out. I'm sure it'll turn out pretty good, but I don't think it'll be 100%, obviously, other than the fact that it's almost 70 years old. And just because there's probably so much of this dirt and shit worn into the paint. And of course you could go further, like you could take all these nails and posts off. You could take everything off, which would probably be the better option to do when doing a playfield like this. But I never have any luck removing the nails or these spring posts. And I'm too scared to be honest, because like this one here, if I were to pull that up, it might pull up some of the paint that's already like flaking away pretty much. Remember, there's right here, like the paint's coming up here. If I were to pull this up, it would probably pull a bunch of the paint up too. So I usually just leave those and scrub around them, which does work out in most cases. But yeah, so I'll get cleaning and scrubbing, and you'll see as I scrub through it how it will turn out. So here we go. Alright, here's the playfield after scrubbing the hell out of it. I think it's great. Oh, sorry, I meant fantastic. I honestly did not think it would turn out this great, but here it is. So we lost a little bit of paint around the lamp holes. But that's okay, because you can't really see that part. And this also couldn't clean around those too well. I'll have to see if I could remove those posts next time. I don't think it'll bother me too much. Excuse me, you're not going to be looking at the lamps, you're going to be looking at, you know, the numbers as you see the ball roll around. The ball lane didn't really clean up all that great either, but you know, it's all right. It's not meant to be perfect, but it's a hell of a lot better. So now I can wax it, which will make it look even better. And then I can put all the stuff back on the playfield, which is right here in this little tub here. But I gotta clean it all first, like the lamp covers and the bumpers. All that needs to be cleaned, and the springs as well. I'm gonna try to clean those this time. But that shouldn't take too long, hopefully. So I'll come back once it's waxed up and all the parts are clean. All right, folks, there's the playfield. What do you think? Looks pretty good to me. So, clean plastics, new rubbers, springs. Big fail. I tried to clean the rust off some of that, didn't turn out too good, but you know, they're not horribly rusted, so I just left them as is. You wanted to have a little bit of character. I didn't have anything to ink this back in. If I do find something, I will, but if not, I'll just leave it. I plan to recolor in these little buttons here for the rollovers eventually. But that's all I did for now, because we'll probably have to work underneath the playfield again at some point. And I gotta do that anyway, because one of these lights doesn't work too well. But that's that. So now we can start troubleshooting through what doesn't work. And here's what doesn't work. So the scoring is the biggest issue. That doesn't work at all from what I've been trying, whether it's, you know, in a line, diagonal or horizontally, or in the colored sections. Whatever I do, it does not detect a win and score. So I need to look into that. Shoot before a fifth doesn't work. And the yellow score lights didn't work, but I figured that was easy, so I went ahead and fixed that, which was a problem over here. One of these rivets in the back was loose, so I just kind of crimped it down tight, and now our yellow lights are back, which is good. And I think Other than our problem with the timer unit not being original, that's pretty much it. I think the rollovers work. They enable the 5th ball relay, trip relay, but of course it doesn't work. Oh, and yes, of course the R button stopped working, so I need to look into that too. And I also wiped off the glass a bit, but it doesn't really matter since I'm going to be swapping it out. But at least it's a little bit more presentable. You can see the magic screen better now. And that's pretty much all I did. So we'll start working through all the crap that doesn't work, and hopefully we can get it pretty good. And then afterwards, depending on how it looks, I'll probably have to tackle the cosmetics, which kind of not looking forward to, but you know, it's got to be done because I can't sell it like this. It just looks so bad. I gotta see what I can do about the wood rails too, but that'll be later. We'll just focus on the game itself right now. So I'll turn on the game, play through it, and I'll show you the scoring problem that we're having. Okay, so I played a game. It's at the end of the game, technically, the timer unit stepping up, but you can see I have a win here in the orange. The 2 is not legit. I just threw it in there to show you the scoring problem. But you see I still gotta work through, check out some of those light bulbs back there. See our yellow lights are working now. So when I hit the R button, this is what happens. So yeah, don't think it's supposed to be doing that. So yeah, that's definitely not right. And of course, it didn't score. So I need to look at why that is. I need to see what makes those units step up, because I think these the reset ones are caused by the control unit. This switch right here, it's hooked to both of these stepper units here, so I need to look into that. Including our timer unit. It's actually all the way up, but I took the nail out so it doesn't go into tilt. So I'll need to look into that. So I think that's what I'll do first, because I want to get that out of the way so I can make sure that the counters work too, and that all the scoring works. So let me take the control unit apart and we'll take a look at that section, because it's pretty unique. Alright, so we're going to take a break from the scoring for a little while because I have received a new timer unit. Here's what we got. I don't know what game this came from, but it's definitely a 50s game because it has the black wrapper on the coils. But I'm not quite sure which game, but I was looking at it a little bit and I was comparing it to the other one, the wiring, and it looks to be wired pretty much the same. There are a few wires that are different, obviously, but my biggest problem is that this timer unit does not include the spider, and I knew that because it wasn't pictured in the listing. So I'm just gonna have to just YOLO it and hope that this spider will work with this unit, which it should, because a lot of this wiring is pretty much the same. Like I said, there are a couple that are different, and the biggest difference with this one is there's a third set of rivets. This one only has 2 sets, but it's not that big of a deal because pretty much all of the outer rivets are all jumpered together, And there's the wire that solders to it there. It goes to this pin right here. You can probably see it. But that's not the same on this one. So worst case scenario, I'll probably have to modify this spider so that it has an extra finger on it. But I guess we'll see what it does with it being as is. So I'm gonna swap it out and we're just gonna try it and see what it does. It should work, mostly, but we'll see. Alrighty, I cleaned it up, put the spider on this one, oiled all the pivots because they're all pretty stiff, clean that gear, clean the rivets, put that grease on there. So now I'm just gonna swap it, so hope for the best. Alright folks, got it installed and all hooked up. So I've turned on the machine. Oh, I also stepped it all the way up, just so that's not doing erratic stuff if it does. It's in tilt right now. So let's start a game and see if it fixed our problem or if it made anything worse. Okay, got the ball. I heard it step up in the back. Let's play it like this. Shoot the ball. There we go. Stepped up, there's your second ball. Okay, third ball. Press buttons now is flashing, that's good. Fourth ball. Well, pick the next ball, but still flashing press buttons. Okay, yeah. Oh, guess I didn't get that lucky. Let's see here. Okay. It's acting like it's on selected for a fifth, but it's not tripped. But it is stepping up now. Okay. Let me start a new game and I'll trip shoot before fifth, see if that does anything. Okay. Shoot before fifth. Oh, well, that's extra balls. Where is it? Okay. So let's unlock the magic screen. There we go. Shoot before fifth is lit. Now let's shoot the balls. Let's see if that changes anything. Okay. those 3 balls and press buttons. Now it's not flashing, so okay, yeah, still not working. Well, at least the trip relays tripped. Okay, so I guess now what we'll have to do is we'll have to rig it up so that it works, like this one, at least. So what do you think about that? Luckily it's a timer unit, it's not like a feature unit like this one here, or I guess any of these other units, Explorer units. So it shouldn't be that hard. Might have to change a few wires. I'll have to compare them again to see, because I know the last like 5 or 6, they're a bit different, but the first 4 or 5 are the same. So we don't need to mess with those. But it is stepping all the way up. Let's see. Okay. Watch and see if it goes into tilt, which it should, because it's going to hit that switch. Okay, perfect. All right, so I'll take it back apart and we'll take a look at it and see if there's anything that we can change that's simple. Okay, well, I've been at it for a while trying to fix the scoring and not really getting anywhere. So that's okay. Still haven't fixed anything else. I've just been trying to fix that for like a couple weeks. And it's a little better, but still not quite there. I'll go over it soon. But the new back glass has arrived, so I'll get it out of the shipping box and I'll lay it on a little table and we'll compare it with this one so you can see just how different it is and just how bright it looks. All right, here's the new glass. What do you think? Looks pretty good. Ignore this, okay? That's called being too careless when you're too excited. Here's the original glass. See, this area is the worst flaked area in this entire glass. So I got this back glass from Gary at Back Glass Reprints. I bought it on eBay. And he has other ones too. He doesn't have all of them, but he's got a good amount. Like he's got like he had Broadway. He has Lido, Silver Sails, County Fair, Nightclub. You know, a lot of the older ones. I don't know if he has any 70s ones. We'll need to ask him. So I think how he's done this glass is he's got one layer of glass, then he's got this the print itself, and then there's another sheet of glass under it. That's what it looks like, and he's got it sealed like so. See, there's a good look of it there. There you go. Just one sheet of glass, then the print, then another sheet of glass. And there's actually a bit of flexibility to this glass. See, I'm lifting this one corner. You see the other one's not moving in, but the original glass, the whole thing pretty much moves. There's not much flexibility there, so that'll be nice. So there's a bit of color difference here. Not sure if just because it's discolored or they just got the wrong color, but that doesn't really bother me. It's just this color here. I'm good with that. So we'll flip it over and we'll take a look to see the screening, the silk screening on the back. All right, here's the back of both of them. I don't think I've ever shown the original one before, but you can see just how bad it really is. So it looks like someone has spray painted some spray paint on to try and seal up the flaking, and the paint they painted over in the cracks on top of it. Then here's how the silk screening is on the reproduction. It's a little different there. I'm sure it'll look fine though. It looks like there though. Forgot to silk screen the two dots there, but that's all right. And I guess you left this in, the press buttons. See, it's not silk screen on this one, but you can kind of see it right here. It's pretty cool. I guess we'll be doing a light mode. I'm good with that. So I think it looks pretty good. So I think I'll pop it in the machine and we'll see how it looks with all the lights on. All right, folks, there it is in the machine. What do you think? I think it looks great. I'm pretty happy with it. So, I think what I'll do now is I'll just keep working through it. Try and fix the problems that we're still having, and then hopefully we can get to a place where I can stop there and start tackling these cosmetics. So I'll keep working through it, and if I find what's causing our issue, I will come back and tell you. All right, folks, I have big news. So, in that time period, I was able to fix a lot of things. And one of the biggest things I've been wanting to fix was the scoring. I finally figured it out. So let me tell you what I had to do. It was actually stupid simple, but let me just take a minute to yap to you about just exactly what I had to go through. So I started with the search wiper. I tore it apart. I replaced a bunch of the wires, as you can see. That didn't fix it. I took apart the winter unit and cleaned it again. Didn't fix it. I took apart the sequence unit, tore it apart. That didn't fix it. I took apart the magic screen wiper disc. Took that apart, cleaned it again. That didn't fix it. Tore apart all 3 score units. That didn't fix it. And what else was I doing? There was a bunch of stuff that I was doing. Because one of the biggest concerns that I had was the winter unit. You can see there's these two lugs right here that don't have a wire on them. And it looks like they've had something connected to them before, but I couldn't find out if there's supposed to be a wire there or not. I tried checking other images of the insides and, well, they're not very good quality. But I thought in one of them there was a wire on both of these, or so I thought. But apparently it doesn't matter in this game because it works just fine without it. So our issue this whole time was this goddamn switch right here on the reset plunger. It was just barely out of adjustment. I was fiddling with it, holding switches down as this would turn. Because I thought it was a problem with the winter unit not stepping up, because it seems that when it's first stepping this up, trying to search, this doesn't move or like twitches. But apparently it's supposed to be like that, and it doesn't step up like it should until like this gets like a third, fourth of the rotation. Then it'll step up and find your win. But that was the issue, so I just jammed it shut and now it's working. So that's finally fixed, and I've been playing it for quite some time, and I've tried every single combination scoring, you know, blue, red, yellow stripes, and just the colors, and it works every time. So that is now fixed finally, because what was going on at first was in that last clip that you saw, it was not like this wouldn't stop at a good place where this could step up. And the reason for that was because this cam that's back here that the search wiper hooks into was on backwards. So yeah, that was that problem. And by putting that back on, that brought back inline scoring, but the section scoring still didn't work, and that was that switch problem. So that's all taken care of, because I was literally at the end of the road. Like, I tore apart and looked through everything that I thought that could be the issue. So it's a good thing I found it. Otherwise, I probably would have gave up for now and just worked on another game until I could figure it out. But got it now, so that shouldn't be an issue. And while I was at it, I fixed some other things too. Move screen right, that didn't work, at least after I went through the machine. And the problem with that was the switches underneath there were all out of adjustment, and they're supposed to be a certain way. They can't just, because I had them all mashed together on both of them, and that's not how they're supposed to be. So after adjusting them and figuring out, now the screen moves right once again. And what else was there? Oh, the score extra step, that now works too. This clutch was slipping pretty badly, and this disc with the switch on it wouldn't spin very good. But after oiling it, yeah, I think just this needs to be oiled, like on the shaft there. And now it spins, it doesn't slip anymore, and it does work. So that's good. So, and that can't remember what else was there. Trying to think. It's been quite some time, honestly. I think I tinkered with some things here and there, like light bulbs and just some odd things. But that leaves us with one feature that still doesn't work, and that's shoot before fifth ball, which is an issue with the timer unit, which I still don't know what I'm gonna do about. Because I don't think the spider is correct. Or at least I don't think so. I really need to go back and look at my other videos to see what the spiders on them look like. I know they're gonna be different in each game. I think though, the closest that I can compare it to from this time frame is Broadway, which is my first game, because that has the same type of setup. It only has shoot before 4th and 5th, and shoot before 5th is a troop relay, just like Broadway. So I might be able to see if I have some pictures or close-ups in my video of me taking apart the timer unit on it, hopefully. If not, I'll probably have to scour the internet and try to find some pictures or somebody who can help me with that. But I'm not too worried about that right now. We also had an issue, now that I remember. The red replay counter, it's this one here, it wouldn't step up. And that was actually a problem with the red score unit. One of the fingers, it's these little ones like way in the back here, was actually lifted off the traces. So bending that back made that work again. That's pretty good. I think that's pretty much it. That's the only thing that still doesn't work, is that. But all the scoring works, all the features work. Red stripes works, yellow stripes works, rollovers work, but you know, it's useless because shoot before 5th doesn't work. Blue section scoring works, extra balls work. Yeah, that's pretty much it. There's still a few things to do with the playfield, like repaint these rollovers, print the instruction cards, and fix that light bulb. It's a problem with the socket, so I'll probably have to replace that, which I got. And of course the cosmetics is left, which I'm actually going to do next. So now that we have all that BS out of the way, finally, now I can get to doing these cosmetics. So I'll take apart the machine, set the cabinet up on some like little stands or whatnot, whatever I can find. And then I'll tell you what I'm gonna do, because I got plans. Well, you know, I guess before we do all that, I'll play a game so you can see how good it works now. I'm not sure if I'll be able to show everything, at least right now, so that's all right. Pinball. I do have, I did get some, some buffers for your drill that I can use to buff up some of these pinballs, because 5 of these are new and 3 of these are the originals, and they're still kind of dull looking, so I'm going to try and buff them up so that they look presentable enough. So we'll advance our odds. There's score extra step. See, it works good now. I also adjusted the light diffuser in the back with the magic screen, and I also adjusted it as well, so the numbers are a little more centered than they usually are. Let's see if we can unlock the magic screen. There we go. That back glass looks great. Okay, that's good enough. We'll shoot the ball. I'm not sure if we'll make a win, but if not, I'll just cheat so I can show you the scoring. Okay, 10. I also worked out all the light bulbs too. I replaced some of the ones that looked really dim. There's still one that's kind of dim, which is number 5, but it doesn't bother me too much, so we'll leave it as is. But number 14 we need to look out for, because sometimes it doesn't want to light up. But that's no big deal. Next. still kind of sucks playing this because the playfield is still horribly unlevel and too steep. But you know, it's all right for now because we're still kind of test playing it, making sure that everything stays working. Okay. Oh, the bulbs behind that are blowing out because for whatever reason, the timer unit, when it steps up, when you kick the ball out and after you drain it, it blows those light bulbs out for some reason. So you need to check that out. But there's move screen right. That now works. You can see. So now I have full control of the magic screen once again. All right, so we'll leave it at there and shoot the ball. Guess we'll see where it goes. $17. We'll just do this ball. We'll make a score in that red striped section. So 5. And I'll show you the extra balls too. So just press the yellow button. Now it lights extra balls, trips the relay. You just wait to unlock a ball. I've been testing this a lot too, and it's been working pretty good. Just not easy to get. There we go. There's our extra ball. Here's our first one anyways. So we'll grab this one, steal it. We'll end it in 6. There we go. Now we have 3 in that red stripe section. So all we're gonna do is just press the button, R button, it'll scan through and score. Boom! That's how it ought to be. And we also had, now that I remember again, another issue with the scoring section. Because what would happen is, after you would make a win, this whole section would stutter and give you extra points. And the reason for that was because there's this one switch right up here up top that was adjusted down too far. Because this latch relay, or coil, it pulls in and holds those switches in when it's energized, when it's scoring, and afterwards it lets go, but it's still kind of pulled out a bit, so some of those switches are still closed, and this one was still touching a lot, and it was making it where you would earn too many credits, and it was basically like stutter win, I guess if you want to call it that. But after just adjusting that slightly, it does not attempt to give me extra credits and the scores correctly each time. So there you go. I'll come back once I have the machine disassembled and ready to paint. Alright folks, we're digging into it now. So I took the game apart. We're about ready to paint the cabinet. But before we can do that, we need to do some repairs. So the first thing is this area right here on the coin door. I was able to get everything off of it, luckily. Just a few things hanging up on it. All the stuff is over here on top of the head. Here's the buttons, here's the shooter rod, just the coin bezel, coin mech, a little hopper, and just random bits and pieces. So we need to patch up this work right here and also just patch several other holes that don't need to be there. And I can do something about that. But the biggest area is down here behind the leg. So the whole problem with this cabinet is it's severely dry rotted. I pulled the nails out of this corner. There they are right there. Because I'm going to attempt to put some wood glue and Bondo down in there where it needs it. We also got another problem on this side where there's a big slice in the wood, and yes, it is actually separated. So that'll need some wood glue, which is fine. This corner looks okay though. And just gonna do some extensive work. See all the bits and pieces that fell out. I also took the that bar that sits right here and put the foot rail on, because it was pretty loose. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like that, but I pulled it out of there anyway just so that I have more room to work my fingers in. So basically it just needs a lot of Bondo and wood glue, or wood filler perhaps. So I'm going to attempt to do that first. So I might have to tip this back up this way so I can work that in that area. The head's pretty much ready to go. I took the entire framing off there. It all is over there. And I just need to tape off the lamp baffle so that I don't get paint on it. And then here's the paint. This is for the little bezels there for the buttons. This is going to be the base coat. This is going to be the red, the white, a little bit of gold, and then the brown, which is the only spot is right here. That kind of looks like gold, like this color, that's gold, but I don't know. All the other ones that I've seen were all brown right here, but all of this was gold. It might just be a light thing, I'm not sure. And regarding the designs, I was gonna go with liquid paint, like in cans, to paint it back, but I figured that would probably take much longer. So what I've decided to do is I'm gonna create my own stencils for this cabinet. We're just gonna work with that, which is why I got the spray paint instead. The only thing that I'll have to do is think about the front door there. Might have to make my own stencils out of what's on the cabinet to make it work with the coin door. We'll see about that. I'll think about that more as I go along. But yeah, that's where I'm at now. So I'm gonna attempt to do this repair here. Hopefully it'll turn out pretty good. I might have to put a bunch of glue and wood filler to try and recreate what it used to look like, so I can put those nails back in so that whole side can be held together. And then I'll come back once I've got that all figured out. Alright folks, so here's now the cabinet repair turned out. I have it tipped over because what I'm about to tell you in a minute. So there's a big corner of the door missing here. There's some missing there. Basically, like this whole corner down here was gone. I filled it up with wood fill. I'll show you. I'll give you a better look once I tip it back over to paint it. But that's turned out successful, and now I'm starting on the stenciling. So I decided to make these stencils out of this really thin drop cloth, because I don't know what else to make it out of. And I've started with the gold, which will be the first layer. So I've cut out all the areas that have gold paint on them. And that's what we ended up with. I've chosen this side of the cabinet because there's more of the art left. The other side, not so much. But there's a star here that was pretty much gone. There's only like probably about that much of it left. I was able to just make something out of it. And there's a little musical note here that was also pretty much gone. and the bit of the flag too. I was able to find a picture online of the cabinet, and I just drew back in what this stupid red strip is covering up, and that's what we ended up with. It looks pretty good. So I'm not sure how good this will work. I'm not sure if anybody's ever done it this way, but I'm sure there's probably gonna be a lot of overspray, which I don't think it'll make it look too bad. I guess it'll really depend on how it looks. Like all these like straight edges, like this here and this here, I could probably tape off, but like this and all, you know, like shapes like this, I don't know how good I'd be able to make that, especially circular things like that. But I guess we'll see. So this will be the first layer. I've also cleaned up the wood rails, but I have them taped over right now. But I'll show you them again once the painting is done. So it's the first layer. So I'm gonna make the rest of the other layers, and then we can start with the base coat. All right, folks, there's the red stencil. This one is probably gonna take the longest to do. It's probably gonna be a bitch trying to hold this down too when I'm spraying it. Because this is really thin, like all it takes is a little bit of air. See, and it just moves all over the place. So I'll have to think of something to do to hold this down as best I can. If not, well, I guess I'll have to try and tape around all the curved areas as best I can, which I don't think will be too hard to do. The only thing I'm worried about is the paint, or no, the tape taking up the paint, which I don't think that will happen because this tape is actually not that strong. It's painter's tape, so I don't think it'll rip up the paint or anything for the base coat. But I guess we'll see what happens. So let me do the last stencil, which will be the white, and I'll show you how it looks. All right, here's the white stencil. I got this one to lay much more flush than the red stencil somehow. I don't know what's up with that, but here it is. So literally the only white that's pretty much there is the mask, the flag, and the pole, and this little staff right here, which is pretty good. So that is all the stencils that we need. So now we can begin painting the cabinet finally. So I'll tip it back over on the other side, and then we'll get straight to painting. Before I put the base coat on, here's a better look at the wood repairs. Here's that corner. There's a bit of wood here that was missing. Let's see. Coin switch is hanging out. Okay. There's some wood here that was missing. That's nice and solid. There's some wood here that was missing. Basically, this whole corner was separated. And I was able to get it to mount flush again using some clamps. And there's no nails holding it in right now. It's all just wood glue in this filler. There's a bit of wood there. It's not completely flat, and it's not, I don't expect it to be after I paint it, but it's all right. As long as it looks like this side, then we're good. And then on the inside here, that little bracket down there behind this metal plate was all messed up too. It was all snapped in half, and I just used some wood glue to hold that back together, and then I put the some bolts in there to help hold in place as it dries. So that's rock steady. And that plate there that you see was actually completely missing. It was over here on this side, so I stole it from that, since this side's pretty solid. And that should get it where it's rock steady, which it is. So there you go. All right, folks, I have applied the base coat. What do you think? It's a little lighter than the original, but then again, that one has dirt, nicotine, and just natural wear mixed in with the color. I originally used this color. If I could find it. Did I throw it away? No, I didn't. I originally used this one as I showed earlier, but what happened is when I applied it, it was much too dark. Here, I sprayed it on these rails. That's how it looked on the cabinet, and I was not happy about that. So I went to get some more paint, and I picked up this color instead. Ivory Silk. This is the closest one I could find there at the store, and that's how it looks. And I think that's close enough, at least for the girls we date. So I applied it, and it's dry. So in the midst of that, I was pondering for a while of how I'm going to be able to do the stenciling with, one, how thin this tarp is, and two, without the cutouts getting all deformed and whatnot and screwing it up from the compressed air from the can. So then I came up with this great idea, which was to place the stencil down and then spray the areas with clear coat, because one, it's transparent, and two, it's sticky. So I did that, and that pretty much held it down. It's drying right now, so it's kind of peeling up, so I got to put some more on before I put the paint on. But that looks like it'll do the trick. So I'm gonna try that out. I'll spray this is the gold stencil, by the way, which is the first one I got to put on. I'll try it out, and then I'll show you how it turned out. So I'll come back once I spray the gold on. All right, folks, here's the gold. So it actually worked out perfectly. Once the clear coat dried, I was able to just peel it all up little by little, and that's how it turned out. It's a little bit off in some spots, like right here, but it's not meant to be perfect. I knew that was going to happen anyway. But it doesn't look like there's any overspray, which is good. It's how it ought to be. A little bit of mess ups here. Again, it's not meant to be perfect. But I'm pretty happy with it. So I think from now on, whenever I paint cabinets, I'll just do what I did here, since it worked. I'll keep that in mind for the future. So next color I'll do is the red. So I'll plop the red stencil on and give it some paint, and we'll see how it looks after that. All right, I've applied the red stencil. I sprayed the clear coat to, I guess, glue it down temporarily. This one took the longest to do because of all the odd and weird shapes. And that's because this stencil, I don't think I cut it right. There's too much of like excess. You know, it's not flush. But I was able to make it flush or on the lines as best I could. So I guess we'll see how it turns out. So I'll wait for this to dry a little bit, then I'll start spraying it on. This is the color I'm gonna use. Red pepper. Do a little test demo down there. It looks good. So I'll come back once I spray it, then we'll see how it looks with the stencil removed. All right, well, here it is with the red paint, and like I suspected, it didn't turn out as great. So there's a bunch of I guess overspray, you might as well call it. So I think it might have been two things. One, I don't think I waited as long as I should. And two, I think I just had a bad stencil, because you saw how wrinkly it was compared to the gold and the white, which weren't really that wrinkly. So what I think I'm going to do is, once I put the white on, I'm going to make a whole new red stencil, so that when I do the other side, we don't have this issue. And I'm not too worried about it, because even though I put all this paint on it, you could still see in the wood there, the little lines where I made the stencils with. You can see them everywhere, actually. This is the white. So I'm not too worried about making a whole new stencil. And I don't know what happened here, because there's not all. This is not supposed to look like that, and some of the gold got ripped up. I might do that whole thing over again. But that's what we have, which I think it's not too bad. It didn't end up like the whole thing. It's mainly just this area was the biggest problem. And I think what I'm gonna do is, because of all these lines that are still there, I could probably just go over them again with a knife and put packing tape, or not packing tape, paint tape, and then just paint the excess with the spray paint. So that way I don't have to do the whole thing over again, because that'll take up way too much time, and I'm already stalled this for too long. Because look, there's already my next machine waiting for me. So I think we'll apply the white on. That'll give me a good idea of how it'll look. It'll probably be better too, since one, it's more flush, the stencil, and two, it'll be the final color to put on. So I'll be back once I have the white stencil on. All right, folks, there's the white. So this one I waited the proper amount of time to dry. Looking good. Only problem is this here got messed up. I'm not sure how, but it's all right. It's not meant to be perfect. And while I was at it, I also added these lines back in too. So with the exception of the screwed up red, it looks pretty good actually. I think the white really balances out the base color. So I'm pretty happy with that. So now I'll flip it over and we'll start on the other side. So what do you think about that? All right, so I flipped it over and I applied the gold on. Looks pretty good. And I figured out the hard way that you can't reuse the same stencils. I tried doing that and that did not work. So what happened was, you could probably see right here that once I peeled up the stencil, there was just gold flakes everywhere, all around the edges. Over here, especially on the star. So I had to completely repaint this entire side. Well, not really, I just kind of painted over there as that messed up. You can kind of see where I did spray and where I didn't spray. So then I went through and made a whole new stencil set for all three colors. So hopefully that will turn out better than the other side. All right, so I'll put on the red stencil, spray that on, and then we'll see how it looks. And this time I'll wait the full amount of time that I should have. All right, here's the red. And I don't know, I guess it must be something with the paint that I'm using, but it still got me messed up. It's not as bad as the other side though, and this didn't get messed up. But I guess I'll still have to go over both sides with it, which is fun, I guess. Doesn't really bother me. But I'm pretty happy with it, because like all this, you see, like all this here is going to be white. So any screw ups, like right here, that'll be covered up by the white paint. This is the paint that I use. And this is the red I'm using. It's a different brand. It must be mixed differently. But the gold is the same brand. And I don't have issues with the gold really. So, I don't know. The base coat is also the same as this one. But you know, it is what it is. It's not meant to be perfect, and I'm not trying to make it 100% either. Just more presentable in that case. So I'll throw the white stencil on, spray it, wait the same amount of time, and then we'll see what we get. All right, folks, the white has dried. Here's how it looks. Looks pretty good too. Unfortunately, on this side of the cabinet, I didn't trace where the stencils are supposed to go, so when lining it up, it kind of messed it up a bit in some spots, but it's good enough for me. Pretty sure once I fix up like all this extra mess ups and whatnot, I'm sure it'll look pretty good. I still got to paint the lines here. That's this color. I think while I'm doing that, I'll start painting over all this and whatnot, since I'll be using that color anyways. So that's it for both sides of the cabinet, other than those messes. So I think what I'll do next is I'll start painting the front. So what I gotta do there is I gotta sketch it out first. Luckily, there's a very good high quality picture of the front of the cabinet, so I'm gonna use that as a reference to paint all the colors back in. So I'll start with that. All right, folks, I have sketched in the artwork on the front. Here's what we got. I think it turned out pretty good. I used an image online that showed perfect depiction of the artwork on the front. So I just traced it by hand, trying to match it up as best I could. And that's what we got. It's a kind of a little bit off on the face, like the mouth, but that doesn't really bother me. Everything else is pretty much how it looks, so to speak. And I finalized the sketch with a Sharpie, so that way when I'm putting the stencil over it, I can see the lines better. That'll help me get a good enough cut on all the shapes. So the first color I'll start with is the gold, of course, and which is here, the little line here, here, and here, and a little bit here. I can't remember which though. Then we got the red, which is here, 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 and here, and here. Then we got the white, which is here, one of these lines. I think it's this one right here. Here, and here. So not a whole lot, which is good. So I'll start painting in each color, and then I'll show you each color as it dries. Hopefully the red doesn't screw us over. All right, so I've sprayed all 3 colors on, and this is what we got. So aside from the obvious screw-ups, which I knew were going to happen, it looks okay. Might try to touch some of it up, but I can't promise it'll look much better than what it does now. Which is fine, because I'm not aiming for 100%. So I sprayed on the white, it's still kind of drying as you can see, but it looks pretty good. So that's pretty much it for the cabinet, other than I might touch up this side too, because I did this side already. It looks good enough for me. So now we can start painting the head. So I'll start putting some stuff back on the cabinet, because I cleaned some things, like there's the shooter rod, there's the 2 buttons there repainted. This is cleaned a little bit, cleaned up that a little bit. Just a few things. And actually on the inside of the door, some of these wires came off, like that one right there. And there was a set right here, yes. So these ones right here, they actually went to the coil on the coin mech. I don't know where it is, but long story short, the winding was actually burnt up and broke, so the coil just fell apart. But I'm not going to put that back on there, it doesn't really need it. We'll start with the head. I'll apply the base coat. I only have to pick the stencils too. Luckily on the head, I only have to paint 2 sides with the stencils. And hopefully that'll be it for the painting finally. So I'll get started on that. Alright, so I've applied the base coat on this side. And I say that because I've actually started on the other side already. You see I got the red stencil, you can see by the paint. So what I'm trying to do to make it go faster is I'm juggling both sides at one time. So I've applied the base coat on this one, but as you can see, right before I did that, I carved out the places where I need to put the stencils on. And I would have had this either way, since I would be making it with the stencil anyway. But I actually didn't do it on this side. I only did it on the other side. I carved it on this side so that it'll help me line up the stencils much easier, so that when I put them on, they're not all like wonky in the wrong spots. I wish I did that with the cabinet, but it was all right. Because you can see like the end of the flag, it's probably about an inch away from the edge, but on this side you can see it's probably 1/4 of an inch, but it's all right. So that's what we're going to be doing here. Now on the other side, I've already painted the gold and the red. The red, I waited enough to dry so I can lay it flat, so hopefully when I lift it up it'll be fine. And I think I've been doing the what I call the hand test. Rub your hand against the paint. If it stops, you can't move it, then it's still wet. But I only found one spot over here that was still wet, so I'm just waiting for that to dry. Then I can put the gold stencil on, spray of that, and then I can't do the other side yet because I have to wait for the clear coat to dry underneath the stencil. Otherwise, it'll peel up the paint that I've already put down there. And I've learned that the hard way from doing it on the cabinet. But that's all right. This process should make it go by much faster either way. So I'll come back once I have more stencils or paint colors put on. All right, folks, I've painted the head. What do you think? I think it looks pretty good. And then one little oopsie right here, which that happened when I laid the head down on this side while I was painting the other side, and the paint wasn't quite dry enough, so it stuck to the concrete. It actually ended up ripping the entire layer off. That includes the base coat too. That was when I was doing the white stencil, so that's why the white's sprayed in, but the red isn't. But unfortunately, I ran out of tape to try and tape around it, so I can't do that. But that's all right with me. The back, I didn't paint the back yet. Still deciding if I want to do that or not. But here's this side. This side's a little but you know, it's all right. Again, not meant to be perfect. Paint at the top though. I'm waiting on it to dry currently. But yeah, there you go. So overall, I'm pretty happy with it. The cabinet turned out great. Got the stuff up on the front. Looks pretty good. There's still one more thing I gotta put back on the inside. So I think it'll make it pop now, especially with that new back glass. So I think now it is finally time to put it back together once more. So I'll wait for the paint to dry on the top, and then we will start putting it together. All right, folks, I got it back together. What do you think? I think it looks really different, to be honest. It doesn't even look like the same machine that I started with. So I've been tinkering with it a lot. Fixing a few small things as I was testing it. And one of those things was that light bulb socket under there. That's now fixed, so that bulb doesn't stay out anymore. I printed the instruction cards. That one's kind of coming up in the corner. It's all right though. I cleaned the shooter rod tip again because it was so dirty. I stained the rails after sanding them down slightly. You can't really tell that those horrible metal ones are over it anymore. Look pretty good. I also waxed the frame too, like all the wood I waxed. The foot rail. This is pretty good. The legs. So these legs are not original to this machine. When I acquired this machine, it was in one of those stupid cradles, but it was like a custom made one. It had like these style legs on it, but it had like a metal frame all along the bottom of the cabinet, which was what those scorch marks on the sides were from, because that was from the welding. It kind of burned up the cabinet a little bit. Let's see, it was like right here was one spot. Over here, it was like right here behind that leg. On this side, it's either here or somewhere over there. Same on that side. So I just grabbed some random legs, and then I just spray painted them silver so that they look good enough. I'm pretty happy with them. You remember those front ones were black, but I came to the conclusion that they were actually for a different machine that I have. That was because the legs on the custom-made cradle that was in this machine were black too, and I couldn't figure out why I couldn't find the legs for this machine, but then I figured out that that's what was going on. So I took those legs back and grabbed some other ones, and these are the ones that will stay with it. And the back glass, or I guess inside the head really, I I tinkered with all the light bulbs illuminating the magic screen because they were all having poor connection. You know, they look pretty good. I also centered the numbers a bit more because they kind of came out of line because moving the head so much on the ground. The pinballs that were kind of dull, I think this one may be one of them. They were able to shine up pretty good. Not as good as the new ones, but still a lot better. So I'm happy enough with that. The front looks really good. I might have a lock that I can put in that. I'm not sure though. I usually don't put the locks in because, you know, the doors close and stay closed. They don't just like swing open. Same with the back. Now the only area that I did not paint in the machine is the back door. And I may paint it, but I may not. I'm more leaning towards not doing it, but you know, I may down the road. And one of the things I might still tinker with is this bottom frame piece, because the nails holding it in were all screwed up. So I've been throwing new ones in, but it's not really staying flush. And it's kind of wobbly a little bit. So I may tinker with that. But we're not out of the woods yet. There's still one more thing to fix. So we need to fix that. But luckily I know just what to do. So we'll peek inside the back and I'll show you what I have to do. All right, so here's what we got. So the timer unit is what is responsible for the selection. So this is the replacement one, and this is the, I guess, original one that was in this game. And I've just been looking through because I gotta unsolder some of this stuff because this is wired up exactly like this one, because this spider right here doesn't work with this one properly. So I'm gonna switch it back to this one and then just fiddle with this spider. Because I think what's going on is I compared this spider to the timer unit from my first game, Broadway, because I have the pictures for it. And the spider looks like this one. However, there's an extra finger that's like pointing in this direction. And that's the one that touches the outer rivets. Because you can see this one does not have that, because this spider doesn't have that extra finger. And it's also wired up a bit different too. I've taken some wires from this one so it's not exact, but I have a better picture of it. But long story short, they don't match and they don't work together. So I'm gonna make this one, or this spider, work with this. And I also had the pictures for the back wiring from the timer unit from Broadway 2, and it's exactly the same as this one would be. So that's a good sign. So I think pretty much all I gotta do is just add the extra finger to this spider, then revert the wiring back to how it was originally on this board. And then I guess it'll work, I don't know. I just gotta figure out the spider, or not the spider, the finger, like where it's supposed to go. And I'm gonna use this old switchblade as the replacement finger, and it should work okay with it. I just gotta feel with it, get it just right. So I'll tinker with that for a bit, and then I'll come back if I get it working. Okay, people, so let me tell you what I would have to do. So, as you can see, or you might be able to see, well, now you can. I have the original timer unit back in it. Here's the replacement one that was, or supposedly replacement. Because what I did was, I messed with that one a bit like I said I would, and I put the extra finger, rigged it up on the spider, and it made it a little better. It made it to where it could now advance through the fourth ball, but fifth ball was still not working. And I was snooping around online because at that point, nothing I was doing was working. And I decided to check out the manual. And in the manual for these games, it shows each stepper unit and the spotting and search wipers. It shows all of that in the manual. And literally the first page of like depicting all this stuff was the timer unit. And it shows this timer unit in it. Like, it doesn't show this one, it shows this one, like with the 2 sets of rivets. It doesn't show this one with a 3rd set. So apparently this timer unit was never the issue. So I ended up swapping it, reverted it back, put everything back how it was, and that pretty much left us right where we were the whole time. So then I just decided to start tinkering with stuff. I messed with the trip relay, and there actually were a couple switches that were kind of not touching very well, but they were just for the lights, like the press buttons now light and the light itself for the back glass. Even though it lit up, it just wasn't touching too well, but enough to make it light up. So I messed with that, and I basically just took it apart and cleaned the switches again, which they weren't too dirty because it wasn't really working. And that still didn't really do anything. So then just started leaving switches open, shutting switches closed, just experimenting with it, see if, what it'll do, if that will fix something or break one thing or the other. And I would occasionally get mixed results. I did manage to get it working twice, and out of this whole time period, which luckily has only been a few days. But all the time I spent trying to tinker with it felt like a lot. Thankfully not as lot as this stupid sequence unit. But long story short, I wasn't getting anywhere. And I was literally about to give up when I started looking through the wiring here, and ignore this white wire, that's for the extra balls unit. But the selector relays, because the problem that we was having was that even though you have this tripped, when you shot the 4th ball, it would still trip the trip relays, the 4th one and the 5th one at the same time. And that's not how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to trip the 4th one, but the 5th one is still supposed to stay, not tripped. And I was digging around in the wiring. I was trying to see if there was something shorted, or, one of the switch blades was shorted together, and I couldn't find anything. But then, then I found this. And this wire was soldered on the switch for the power to the trip relays. Both of them. It was a direct short from this one to this one, that's connecting both of them together. And I had a feeling that wasn't right, but and I didn't bother to check the schematics to see if it was like that or not. So I decided to unsolder one of the ends, and just to see if that would do anything, because I felt like it would. And I tried it, and now it works. So this whole time, it was this stupid wire that was purposely added in there to make it where the 5th, or select before 5th, would not work. And usually I'll be pretty pissed off, but I mean, it was pretty well hidden in there, especially because it was one of these old discolored wires, original ones, and it was well hidden in there. And I kind of had a feeling, because you can tell by the way, it's soldered, that it's not original, because, at the factory they solder them much cleaner than that, like that one right there. And they also put these, protective coverings over them so the switches don't short. So apparently this scummy operator who owned this machine rigged the absolute hell out of this machine, which is honestly quite sad. But I removed all of them, and all those horrible mods, fixed everything, and now the machine is finally done. Woo! I hated it. I hate this game. But again, bottom line is it works and it's all done. So I'll start a game and I'll show you it working so that we can both be on the same page here. And another thing that I did in the midst of that was the shooter rod. When I shot the balls, it felt really weak. Like the balls would still reach the top of the playfield, but it wouldn't bounce too well. So what I did was I took the spring out, stretched it a little bit, and now it's nice and tight. All right, so we'll start a game. We'll unlock select before fifth. Might have to do it manually, but we'll see if we can get it through our odds here. We need to unlock there. We got the rollovers, but we'll see if we can unlock it. Well, I'll just trip it manually just to save some time. It's this one right here. There we go. All right, we'll shoot the ball. See how it's nice and strong now. See where this goes. Hopefully the balls don't drain, but it'll be all right. Well, in my big mouth. All right. Okay, there's the second ball. Comes the third ball. Okay, lights is not flashing. Bam, there we go. Now I can move the screen because it's before the fifth ball. Now you may have heard one of the trip relays trip, and that is the fourth one. See, it's trip. Select before fourth is trip, but the fifth one is not tripped because those are now not jumpered together. So now this whole circuit can work as intended. So when I shoot the fifth ball, it trips, and now the timer unit will step up. And another issue that was going on because both of those were tied together is that when you shut off the fifth ball, the fourth ball trip relay would just buzz until the timer unit stepped up to a certain position. And I knew that wasn't right. Luckily it didn't burn it up, but it was still not right. But now the game is working as intended and it's all done. There's a couple things I'll keep my eye on. One thing is that some of the light bulbs in the back are starting to lose connection or getting iffy connection. Like one of this bulb right here is starting to flicker. Just small things like that I'll keep my eye on. But everything else is working. So now we can go ahead and play it. So I'll ramp up some creds because we have none right now. And then we'll play it for a little bit. Alright, it took a bit of time trying to get this scored, but here we go. Got 97 credits because the replay counter steps up one past what it normally is, because I think that switch is just a tad bit of adjustment, but it's alright. Alright, here we go. Screen reset, first ball. Let's see what we can get. Okay. Usually what happens is if the screen doesn't advance past that arrow, your scores will step up a lot. Come on, give me the screen. There we go. We also lit the rollovers too. Alright, we'll stop there. We got position E. Alright, here comes the first ball. Shutter closed. Number 1. Alright. Oh, and for me, I usually don't move the screen until I've hit all 3 balls, and fourth unless I unlock press before 5th. Okay, so press buttons now is flashing. So where this ball goes, we'll hit the buttons. Alright. So we don't have that many positions unlocked right now. That might be our best bet. I'm gonna leave it there. I usually always play the colors section because you have a much higher chance at winning those as compared to inline scoring. Alright. There's the fourth ball. You can see that the rollovers are still lit because you have that option to hit them when you're shooting your fourth ball. When you shoot the fifth ball, it will go out. So we got landed on 9, so hopefully we can make the win in that striped yellow. The rollovers are out, so now we can't unlock shoot or press before 5th, which makes sense. Ooh, okay. 8. So we didn't win that game. That's alright. We'll try again. Nice, we got the magic screen right away. Wow, there's our score, extra step. Hopefully we make the green score. Yeah, red jumped up. Ooh, now our green score is maxed. That's pretty cool. If you're wondering what that clicking is, in the back it goes click, 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 click. That's the mixer number 4 relay. Okay, gotta try to get more screen positions. There we go. Alright, we'll leave it there. Number 12, okay. $18. $17, okay. Let's see what we can make up of this. And that's as far as it'll go, because we don't have the last position unlocked. I I'd say we could leave it there, but I have to rely on 20. We could leave it there. Maybe we could try like this. What do you think? I feel like I land in those numbers quite often, except for 16, of course. We have to make 2 in that green section and we'll win. Ah, okay. There's number 7. So if we make those last 4, any of those last 4 numbers, I'll win big money. We almost ended in 5. 22. So technically that would have been a 3 in a row in the yellow, I think. That's alright. Well, we could try for extra balls. What do you think? Let's see if we can get one to begin with. Because they're not, extra balls are not very forgiving in these games. There we go. Alright. Let's see what we get. Number 1. Okay. That's alright. We'll try again. We're down to 59 credits, by the way. I know the replay counter is kind of hard to see. It's not very well illuminated in this game. Looks like we might be playing the home screen this round, unless we unlock the magic screen. Yellow score jumped up. There we go. This game wants you to spend all your credits to unlock things. Sheesh. Alright, well, we'll leave it at that because we don't want to drain our replays. We gotta win something. Number 5, that's the number that we needed last time. Go figure. $13, okay. Gonna hit the rollover? Yes! Alright, that's good, good. Now we can get an extended chance to move the magic screen. Okay, let's see what we can do with this. We can only move it that far. I could leave it there, but I also could leave it here. That's a green score either way. I feel like those numbers would be less likely to land in, except for number 7 probably. I'm not sure though. But if I leave it here, 4 and 3, those are at the top. And they're right next to each other, so if I land in either one of those, I can make a win. See, it's things like this you gotta think about when you're playing these games. Which, you gotta trust your gut in making your decisions. I think I'm gonna leave it there because I have more chances to land in either any of those numbers as opposed to just 4 and 3 in inline scoring. Drain the ball. That's alright, try again. You could be strategic about it too. Like you could only shoot the pinballs so with like little force with the plunger, and you could probably make one of those numbers on the left or the right. But I guess we didn't this time, which is all right. Nice, now we got all the magic screen positions. Now because we have all the magic screen positions, our scores will not step up as much. Alright, we'll leave it there. We're at 30 credits now. Number 1 again. Number 13. Ooh, okay. See, if this was the later Magic Screen games with the orange section, I could move the screen right once and have an inline score there, but we can't in this game. We might be able to make something out of it. So I could leave it there and have the opportunity to land in the blue or make a win in the red. I think I might do that. Hope and pray. $25. Okay. Now we really gotta hope for the red at this point. Ah, there we go. So now we have 3 in that red section. So our payout should be 16, so we should get 46 credits. Alright, I'm gonna press the R button to register them. Perfect. Now we have 46 credits. Alright, we'll keep playing. Give me one of those super sections. I haven't unlocked those yet. Okay, that's pretty good. Alright, we'll leave it there. So we have 2 in blue unlocked, so that's pretty good. We have to make either 16, 13, or 21, or 13, 17, or 20. Any of those 5 numbers to make that blue section win. Okay, number 9. Almost landed in 13. 18, okay. Number 4, all right. Let's see here. Could leave it there in that yellow. I've always landed 1 in 25, so I think I'll leave it there. course, now that I say that, I don't land in either of those, but we could hopefully make it down to 25. Maybe? Oh, almost did. Alright, 24. Alright, so hopefully we can make a win. 1, 2, or 25. Oh, should have plunged the ball harder than that. 7. Okay. Alright, we'll keep playing until we run out, I guess. Alright. Red score jumped up. Rollovers are lit. Alright, leave it there. We got 18 credits left. At least we got one win so far. Alright, number 8. Nice, we hit the rollover. So now we got more time to play the game before we can't move the screen anymore. I actually hit the rollovers often, as surprising as it may sound. Alright, 17. Number 7. Two. Alright. Can't move it much farther than that, fortunately. Well, red has the highest score, and I have 2 numbers in both red sections. Red with the striped and the solid red. Might leave it there, because that'll give us a higher chance to make either one of those. Honestly, I think I should have just left them in the yellow. I forgot that this was the 5th ball. 24, okay. Well, normally I try for extra balls in this case, but we don't have enough credits. I mean, technically we do, but you know, the chances of unlocking an extra ball are pretty slim at this point. So we'll just play a fresh game then. Not looking too good. Might just be inland scoring this time. Just blow the rest of them. Our green score is maxed out. Alright, now we have no credits left. So unless we make a win, that's the end of that. Okay. That's the number that I need to keep my eye on, because the connection with the bulb and the socket isn't all that great. It seems to be working fine right now. 16. Ooh, if I make 5, I'll make a big win. Four. All right. 6. Ooh, if I make 25, I'll make a win too. 23. Almost made it down there. Well, there you go, folks. That's the end of this game. So there was Bally's Carnival Queen boat anchor bingo game. I had fun repairing this game up until a certain point, and then I hated the rest of it, but we made it to the end. So I hope you enjoyed it. I'll keep working on my other game that I have right now in the garage, and we'll just move right along with the whole series. So I hope you enjoyed it. Maybe you found it funny to see me suffer. I will see you in the next bingo boat anchor repair video.